Hey guys, welcome to this brief beginner's yoga class with me. If you have the space in your home or your apartment, clear your area of any chairs or any clutter so that you have a nice open flat surface to work on, and get right into it. Here I'm beginning with a meditation. I am focusing on my breathing, inhaling and exhaling. I am counting to 10, and I'm just breathing and being mindful of my breathing. You know, I'm more apt to practice yoga these days now that we are in this current COVID lifestyle, because of course we don't have access to classes anymore. We have to improvise, and we have to do these things on our own, which is fine and which is actually liberating, because I actually don't have enough money to afford paying for a hot yoga class or any yoga class for that matter. And the idea that you have to pay for a yoga class to actually practice yoga, well, that's ridiculous. Yoga can be practiced anywhere at any time. Here I am sitting in a style where my legs are crossed, and I am mindful of my back and my spine. I'm trying to keep it as erect as possible while I'm minding my breathing, inhaling and exhaling, and counting to 10. Counting to 10 is important because I'm able to measure the amount of time that I spend in any given pose. Now, I've switched to a stretch. I've extended my left leg, and I am still crossed my right leg. And this is similar to the hurdler stretch, but this is the instead of my leg being behind me, it's in front. I am moving from side to side so as to stretch my back, and then I return to the stretch for about a 10-second count. This process of stretching, including yoga, is improvised. Some of the aspects of this I've experienced in yoga classes, and this stretch in particular is one that I'm familiar with from my studies of Taekwondo, of martial arts. I've switched to extend my right leg, and my left leg is tucked in. I'm holding this stretch for 10 seconds. Personally, my impression of yoga and my limited knowledge of yoga leads me to believe that yoga is from India. However, yoga goes far beyond India, and can be traced all the way back to Egypt. Kemetic yoga originated in ancient Egypt, then known as Kemet. Its modern-day practice was developed by claiming association with many hieroglyphic texts from the time, as well as the wall carvings and paintings on Egyptian temples, which portray pharaohs in stretching postures. Again, I'm switching from side to side, being mindful of the erectness of my spine, my posture, that is. I've switched to a stance where I'm on all fours, on my knees and on my hands. I am extending my vertebrae, my spine, through the upward position, and then retracting it as I look downward. Again, I'm mindful of my breathing. For those of you joining right now, in a few languages, I would say hello, welcome, namaste, hotep, salam, assalamu alaikum, oso seo. These are all different greetings, salutations, and also invitations or welcomes in different languages. Again, I'm mindful of my spine, mindful of my breathing, inhaling and exhaling slowly, as well as counting. I've changed the position. Notice my toes are now I'm now sitting on my toes, and I have just I'm moving my shoulders so as to open them up a bit, give them some movement. I'm stretching my hips, leaning forward. My left leg is in front, and my right leg is extended back. And my instep, the instep of my foot is touching the ground. My head is up, I'm looking forward, and my hands are planted on the ground, on the floor. I'm relaxing from this pose to breathe, open my chest, rotating about the hips. Now, raising my hands in this manner is this is in the style of yoga that I've used from yoga classes in the past. So this is reminiscent of yoga. Placing my hands back on the floor, looking forward, concentrating on my breathing, counting, and trying to open up my hips. I'm moving slowly so as not to injure myself. This is a difficult pose or way to sit for me. I remember while studying martial arts, Taekwondo, that it's difficult for me to sit on my insteps in that pose that we just saw. All right, I'm doing this pose again in a different position. My right leg is forward, left leg is back. The left instep is touching the ground. My hands are squarely planted on the floor. I'm relaxing, mindful of my breathing. I'm moving my hands in a yoga-like formation again. Moving my hand in this manner allows me to open up my chest and allows for more oxygen to enter my lungs. I'm practicing this stretch again. Notice that my right knee is outside of my elbow, my right elbow there. All right, I'm taking a breather here, sitting on my insteps briefly. This is a painful position for me to sit in. It may not be for others. In Japan, that is a very common way of sitting. The Japanese and their body structure is different from mine, so it hurts. It hurts when I do it. Here I am stretching my back. My legs are resting on the floor. Both of my insteps are touching the floor. My hands are squarely planted on the floor. I'm looking up. My buttocks is firm. It's stretched. It's tight. And in order to take a breather, I do the reverse. I recline, or I return to this pose where I relax my back a bit. Now this is also a difficult pose because I'm overweight and my belly, gets in the way here. But I try to hold that pose as long as I can. This pose I am comfortable with holding. I try to open up my chest by dropping my shoulders and using my arms to hold my body up and stretch as much as possible. Again, returning to this pose, as I said, I have a large stomach these days. I have drunk too many beers, and so it's difficult. As I continue to practice yoga, I will lose weight, and I'll become more mindful of what the foods and the drinks that I consume. This is an advanced pose. This is not an easy pose to do. Here I'm sitting on my toes. I'm sitting on the balls of my feet. My toes are recoiled. My hands are planted on my feet, holding up my body, and I am opening my chest and leaning back. I return to this pose to relax my spine, to take a breather. And again, it's possible that I am opening up my hips in this manner, but I'm mindful of my breathing. This pose can be difficult if you do have a large belly. In Taekwondo, this is similar to a front stance, but this is a very deep front stance where my knee is touching the floor, my right knee. That will conclude my introductory yoga class. Again, thank you for watching.